president, you heard, and we talked about this during the break, we'll tell the viewers, is that the president won't say that this is a war. Yet during the campaign, he said we had a war on women, but he won't say there's a war on ISIS when they're beheading Americans.
Wow. You heard.
And I looked right at you.
You heard John Bolton say that he thinks, the president's base supporters don't want to call it a war. The president.
But they'll say war on women.
They'll say war on women over and over and over and over. And joining us right now is Rachel Campos Duffy, conservative pundit and MTV Real World cast member. Great to see you.
Great to see you, and national spokesperson for the LIBRE initiative.
Yes, okay. I'm glad you threw that in there as well. Very important. Okay, so this phony, baloney war on women. The women I know, and I'm sure they're like you, care about are their husbands working? Are they working? Are they losing their health care? How they're going to make ends meet? They don't care if their employer or the government is going to pay for their birth control packet, and that's not what they live and die for.
Right. Government-funded, free birth control. That's what Sandra Fluck, that's what they all think, that's what they're trying to tell us that we want. And you're right, we don't. And what I've been out on the speaking circuit talking about this, actually, and I just really believe that conservatives need to go on the offense. Because you know what? I think there is a war on women, but it's not for taxpayer-funded birth control for really spoiled Georgetown law students. I think that the war on women is on little girls who have been raped and abused crossing that border because the president refuses to enforce the border and or secure the border and enforce the laws. I think there's a war on women in the Middle East. Hello, where are the women's movement here?
Yeah.
Sharia law. There's a war on Christian women in the Middle East. There's a war on gender sex selection abortions that are going on globally. Yeah. Where is the women's movement on this?
Well, you made a great point when you say the Republicans have to be proactive. I believe that they have conceded the abortion issue, even though whether you believe in it or not, their radical leftist position and their platform and Obama's position is so out of the mainstream that most Americans would be shocked to know what it is. But they say, oh, no, we can't win that. And I fear that on this war on women, they're so afraid that the media will take anything they say that can be misconstrued and blow it up that they'd rather say nothing and concede the quote-unquote women's vote or war on women to the Democrats.
Absolutely. But I also think that the messenger matters. And so what conservatives need to do is put, people like myself, there's a lot of women in politics, there's a lot of women who are out there. We have to be we're the right messengers, because let's face it, white guys get a bad rap in our party, and it's sometimes hard for them to push back on that message. And so they should, but also I think it's incumbent on conservative women to get up there and push back. Because it's just a farce.
No, absolutely. But what the Republicans can do, for instance, this phony issue of equal work for equal pay. Yeah. What they can do, male or female, I don't care, in the Republican Party, even the leadership, can say, look, the White House. Read the New York Times where they called it an old boys club a few years ago. Read the most recent revelations that they don't pay equal. They pay 70 or 80 cents per dollar. They don't get this message out. They're very poor communicators.
They are poor communicators, but let's face it, the system is rigged against them in the sense that the media, very few outlets like yours out there that are really pushing back on this, telling the truth, exposing the hypocrisy. And so here we are. It's not easy, but you're right. We need to find the hypocrisy. We need to hold the mirror right back at them, because there's a lot of war on women stuff that's on their side. And again, probably the best one, we have in my state of Wisconsin, state legislators who are women who are claiming to hold up the mantle of women's rights, and they're the ones that voted against a ban on gender sex selection. Yeah. How can that be? How can you have that position and say you're for women?
It's outrageous. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the head of the DNC, who's come under some scrutiny from even Democrats, used that Scott Walker was giving us the back of his hand. Had to apologize because in this domestic abuse climate that we're in and the debate about it. Now they pulled out that she had said it, Politico reported that she had done it again with reference to, I think, the governor of Florida as well, her home state. This is reprehensible. And if she were a Republican, especially a male Republican, but even a Republican, they'd be all over her. But you talk about that double standard, she gets a pass.
Yeah, she'd be out of her job. The Democrats are grumbling about it, but you're right, absolutely. Let's be clear. If she had been a Republican, and God forbid if she had been a man,
A white male.
A white male Republican.
Nothing worse than a white male
Forget it.
Republican.
You'd be out of there. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, you know, she gets away with it. But let's face it, there is a little bit of pushback. I think people are starting to get a little wary of it.
Yeah.
And I see that, you know, she's had to apologize. That's better than we've seen
step.
before. It's
yeah,
a step.
That is a step. All right, Rachel, great to see you.
Likewise.
And keep fighting the good fight.
You got it.
All right. Rachel Campos Duffy, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. When we come back, we're going to be, we're going to talk about what's new in Gimme 5, so don't miss that. And now your NewsMax Now update, so stay tuned right here.